What's happening, beautiful people? This is Max Rosenkrantz, aka Coach Maximum, and on today's video, I'm going to be digging into a leadership skill that you're probably not going to learn anywhere else, and you're probably going to miss out on your development as a leader, as a business owner, and as an inspiring person if you don't dig into this one. So stay tuned if you want to get a leg up with this most important leadership skill. So, what are we going to talk about today? Spoiler alert, we're going to talk about grief today. This is a skill that you're probably not going to learn elsewhere, like I said earlier, because a lot of people don't relate to this as a leadership capacity. But I do, and from what I've seen with people, this is a key capacity or skill. Those two words are somewhat interchangeable for you to develop on your path as a leader, as a business owner, as a thoughtful person. So, why is this so important? Well, I want to use a metaphor here, perhaps an analogy. We'll see, I get those two confused sometimes. If you're climbing a rock wall and you are unwilling to or unable to let go of one of the holds halfway up the wall, can you make it to the top? No, you can't. You can make it maybe one wingspan beyond the hold that you're stuck on. So this is where grief comes in. This is where the process of letting go of things that don't exist anymore, or that you don't want to exist anymore, or that aren't serving you anymore. Letting go of those things is so critical. If you want to continue climbing that rock wall all the way to the top, you have to let go of the hold that you're on right now. And that process can be really uncomfortable. That's the process of grieving, of allowing things to die so that something new can be reborn. And this is often a pretty big edge for most people, especially most leaders, especially most business owners, people who are go-getters, letting go and dropping into the softer side and surrendering to the intensity of grief is challenging for a lot of people, because what you're doing when you're surrendering to the intensity of grief is you're saying, I accept the fact that I don't have control over this. And accepting the fact that you don't have control over something is really difficult for a lot of people. So I implore you and I invite you to work on developing this capacity. And a couple things, practical tips that I'll share with you that I found super helpful that you might also find helpful. The first is creating a context where you feel comfortable to tune into those more vulnerable, more unprotected parts of yourself. Ideally, this is at your home place, but if your home place isn't that, perhaps it's out in nature. I found nature is a beautiful place to do this work, and a beautiful place to let go of the things that aren't working or the things that are ready to die off, and to get inspiration for what's next and what's exciting and what's going to take you to the next level. So home or nature. Another thing that I found extremely helpful that I recommend to people all the time is a playlist of music that contains cues or triggers to get you into a certain emotional state. So I have a playlist called Deep Emotional Processing, which I won't share because I don't think it will be useful, and here's why. Those songs have specific connotation for me and have anchors to specific emotional periods during my life, and they're not going to do the same thing for you. So what you can do is curate a playlist of songs that have deep meaning for you and are associated with transition points and losses and moments of being reborn into a new version of yourself. Those are the songs that you want to put on this. Things that put you in touch with your tender heart and in touch with the truth and the reality of your experience of changing and moving and growing and expanding. So that's the second tip. First tip is create a space where you're comfortable getting in contact. Second tip is use music as a cue, as a trigger to get you into a certain emotional state. And you can combine these two. You can also combine the music with walking. Sometimes walking or being in motion or driving can feel more safe than being static. So that, I would say, is tip number 3. Try out being in motion as opposed to being stationary as you are working through some things that you're letting go of. So before we close, I just want to touch back on, what does this allow for? Why is this so important? Why is this so valuable? In order for something new to come in, you have to create a space for that. And in order to create that space, you have to let go of whatever else is taking up that space currently, or you have to expand, or both, ideally. And breathing, so good. Breathwork course coming soon. In order to create something new, you have to be open to the possibility that what you have right now is not all there is, and perhaps is not even the best option. So that's what I got for you today. Keep getting after it, keep growing, keep expanding, keep leading by example. And in the process, cultivate your capacity to let go, to grieve, to make space for something new to come into your life through the process of letting go of what's already there. Much love, hope you are well, and I'll catch you on the next one.